Rain hammered the windshield like bullets from heaven. Sebastian Montenegro's knuckles turned white against the steering wheel as his Aston Martin sputtered once, twice, then died completely on the rain-slicked Seattle street. 34 years old, $12 billion to his name, and stranded in a storm like some helpless fool. Through the downpour, a warm glow caught his attention. Gold lettering on a storefront window, Harper's Haven. Without thinking, Sebastian abandoned his car and sprinted through the deluge. His $1,000 suit soaked through in seconds. The brass bell above the door chimed as he burst inside, dripping onto worn hardwood floors. The bookstore was a sanctuary. Towering shelves reached toward tin ceilings. A stone fireplace crackled, casting dancing shadows across walls lined with literary treasures. The scent of aged paper and leather bindings filled the air, mixing with wood smoke and something sweeter. Vanilla, maybe, or honey. Oh my goodness, you're soaked through. Sebastian turned toward the voice and forgot how to breathe. She emerged from behind a massive oak desk, auburn hair catching the firelight like spun copper. Green eyes that seemed to hold entire galaxies. A cream-colored sweater over dark jeans, simple and devastating in its honesty. When she smiled, something in Sebastian's chest cracked open. "Let me get you a towel," she said, setting down an armful of leather-bound books. "And some tea. You look like you've been fighting the storm and losing." Sebastian found himself studying the space while she disappeared into a back room. This wasn't just a bookstore. It was a refuge. First edition sat beside dog-eared paperbacks. Handwritten recommendation cards were tucked between volumes, each bearing thoughtful insights in flowing script. She returned with a thick towel and a steaming mug. "I'm Celeste Harper," she said, offering both with that smile that made his ruined suit irrelevant. "And you look like someone who needs rescuing from more than just the rain." "Sebastian." He accepted the towel, their fingers brushing. Electricity shot through him at the contact. "This place is incredible." "It was my grandmother's." Celeste's voice softened with affection. "I just run it while finishing my literature degree. Every book here has been chosen with love. Grandma always said books were meant to find their people, not the other way around." They talked for hours as the storm raged outside. Celeste spoke about Austen's wit and Dickens' social commentary with the passion others reserved for religion. She climbed a rolling ladder to reach high shelves, pulling down volumes like a treasure hunter sharing her discoveries. "Have you read Neruda's poetry?" she asked, handing him a slim book. His words about love could make stone hearts weep. Their fingers touched again during the exchange. Sebastian watched Celeste's breath catch, saw the awareness bloom in her eyes. She felt it too. This impossible connection. They found themselves by the fire, conversation flowing like they'd known each other for years instead of hours. Sebastian shared things he'd never told anyone. His loneliness despite success, his fear that he'd lost himself between boardrooms and bank accounts. "You have sad eyes," Celeste observed softly, studying his face in the firelight. "Like someone who's been carrying weight that isn't entirely his to bear." The observation stunned him. In his world, people saw what he wanted them to see, but this gentle soul saw through every carefully constructed wall. "Maybe I have been," he admitted. Celeste reached out, touching his hand where it rested on the chair arm. Her touch was light as butterfly wings but burned like a brand. Sometimes the heaviest burdens are the ones we place on ourselves. Sebastian looked at this woman who challenged everything he thought he knew about connection. At 22, she possessed wisdom his 34 years had failed to teach him. Her world was small but rich with meaning rather than power plays and profit margins. "I should probably call for a car," he said reluctantly, though every instinct screamed at him to stay. "The storm's still fierce." Celeste glanced toward the rain-lashed windows. "Your phone might not have service. Besides," she added with a shy smile, "I was about to make dinner. Nothing fancy, just pasta and bread from the bakery down the street. You're welcome to stay until the weather clears." Sebastian knew he should leave. Everything about Celeste Harper was dangerous to his carefully ordered existence. She represented everything he'd convinced himself he couldn't have. Simplicity, authenticity, love without agenda. But as he looked at her face, illuminated by firelight and unmarked by cynicism, Sebastian made a decision that would change both their lives. "I'd like that very much." He moved closer to where she sat curled in her chair. Words rose from some deep, unguarded part of his soul. "Celeste, I need you to know something. I come from a world that's very different from this." He gestured around the bookstore. "A world that can be cruel and calculating. But whatever happens between us, whatever develops from this moment, I promise you this. I will never let that world hurt you. I'll never let anyone, including myself, damage the beautiful spirit you have." Celeste's eyes widened at the intensity in his voice. "Sebastian," she whispered, "what world do you come from that requires such promises?" Instead of answering, Sebastian reached out to cup her face in his hands, marveling at how she leaned into his touch with complete trust. "One that doesn't deserve someone like you." He leaned down to kiss her forehead gently, sealing his vow with the tenderness of a prayer. Thunder crashed overhead. Rain continued its assault on the windows. Neither of them knew that his promise would become the greatest test their love would ever face. The phone in Sebastian's jacket pocket buzzed insistently. Once, twice. On the third buzz, Celeste pulled back slightly. "You should answer that," she said softly. "It might be important." Sebastian's blood turned to ice when he saw the caller ID. Marcus Blackwood. His business partner. The man who knew every secret Sebastian had fought to bury. "Montenegro." His voice suddenly sharp and businesslike. "We have a problem." Marcus's voice crackled through the phone. "Elena Rodriguez found the files. She's threatening to go public unless you meet her demands tonight." Sebastian's face went ashen. Elena, his former fiancée, the woman who knew about the Montenegro family's dark legacy, the blood money that had built his empire, the lives destroyed in the name of progress. "I'll handle it," Sebastian said quietly, his eyes never leaving Celeste's concerned face. "You'd better, because if she talks, it won't just be your reputation that burns." Marcus's voice dropped to something cold and dangerous. "Everyone you care about becomes a target." Sebastian's gaze locked on Celeste's innocent, worried expression. "Everyone you care about." The words echoed in his mind like a death sentence as thunder shook the bookstore's windows. Sebastian ended the call and pocketed his phone with practiced calm, but Celeste saw the change. The warmth in his eyes had frozen over. His jaw was set like granite. "I have to go." He stood abruptly, the spell between them shattering like glass. "Sebastian, wait." Celeste rose, touching his arm. "What's wrong?" "Who was that?" He looked at her hand on his sleeve, then at her face, and something broke in his expression. "Someone from my past. Someone I thought I'd left behind. Let me help." Her voice was gentle but firm. "Whatever it is, you don't have to face it alone." "You don't understand." Sebastian's voice roughened. "The world I come from, the things I've done to build my company, they're not clean. They're not honorable, and the people in my life, they use information like weapons. If they knew about you, if they thought you mattered to me—" "Do I?" Celeste interrupted. "Matter to you?" The question hung between them like smoke. Outside, the storm had softened to a steady rain. Inside, the fire crackled and popped, the only sound in the sudden silence. "Yes." Sebastian's admission was raw. After just a few hours, somehow, impossibly, yes. Celeste stepped closer, eliminating the distance he'd created. "Then don't shut me out, not yet. Not when we've barely begun." Sebastian's phone buzzed again, and again, each vibration like a countdown. "I have to meet her," he said finally. "Elena, my ex-fiancée, she has files, documents about my family's business dealings, things that could destroy everything I've built. Then go." Celeste's voice was steady despite the fear blooming in her chest. "But come back. Promise me you'll come back." Sebastian pulled her close, breathing in her scent of vanilla and old books and something uniquely her. "I promise. But Celeste, if anything happens, if anyone comes here asking about me, tell them nothing. Pretend tonight never happened. I won't lie about knowing you, then lie about caring." His voice broke. "Please, for your own safety." Before she could respond, he kissed her. Not the gentle touch of earlier, but something desperate and claiming. A kiss that tasted like goodbye and promises and fear all mixed together. Then he was gone, the brass bell chiming his departure, leaving Celeste alone with the fire and the books and the terrible certainty that Sebastian Montenegro was a man haunted by more than just business deals. The Obsidian Tower rose 40 stories above downtown. Seattle, all black glass and steel edges, Sebastian's company headquarters, his kingdom, his cage. He found Alina waiting in his penthouse office, lounging in his chair like she owned it. She was beautiful in the way of poisonous flowers. Sharp cheekbones, midnight black hair, eyes that calculated everything and felt nothing. "Hello, darling." Her voice dripped false sweetness. "Miss me?" "What do you want, Elena?" Sebastian remained by the door, every muscle tense. She swiveled the chair to face him fully, a manila folder on the desk before her. "I want what you promised me when we were engaged. Partnership, power, your name attached to mine in every headline. We ended that arrangement 2 years ago. You ended it." Her eyes flashed. "After I gave you 3 years, after I helped you navigate every social circle that mattered, after I made you legitimate in their eyes. I paid you well for your services." Sebastian's voice was ice. $2 million. A penthouse in Manhattan. Introduction to every investor you asked for. Money isn't the same as status. Elena stood, trailing her fingers across the desk as she moved toward him. "I want to be Mrs. Montenegro. I want the world to know I'm yours and you're mine." "That's never going to happen. Then the world learns the truth." She gestured to the folder. "About your grandfather's arms deals in South America. Your father's involvement in the Colombia mining disaster that killed 43 people. The bribes, the blackmail, the blood money that built Montenegro Dynamics from the ground up." Sebastian's hands clenched into fists. "My company is legitimate. Everything I've built has been legal. Built on a foundation of corpses." Alina smiled. "Doesn't matter how clean your hands are now, darling. The past is still there, staining everything, and when this goes public, your investors will run. Your board will revolt. Everything you've worked for will crumble. You'd destroy me out of spite? I'd destroy you to remake you." She stepped closer, running a finger down his lapel. "Marry me. Make me your partner in everything, and these files disappear forever." Sebastian thought of Celeste, her green eyes full of trust, her gentle soul that saw the good in everything, the way she'd touched his face like he was something precious rather than something broken. "I need time. You have 48 hours. Elena's voice hardened. "Announce our engagement or I go to every news outlet in the country. Choose wisely, Sebastian. Choose what you can live with losing." She swept past him, leaving him alone in his glass tower, looking out at the city lights that suddenly felt like prison bars. His phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "She's lying about the 48 hours. Files going to press tomorrow unless you pay $10 million. Wire transfer instructions attached. Destroy Alina and I'll destroy the evidence forever." And Marcus, his business partner, was playing both sides. Sebastian's world was collapsing. He could pay the money. He could marry Alina. He could run and let everything burn. Or he could fight. But fighting meant dragging everyone down with him, including Celeste, the one pure thing he'd found in years of darkness. His phone rang. Celeste's name appeared on the screen. He'd given her his personal number before leaving. He answered, desperate to hear her voice. "Sebastian?" Her voice sounded wrong. "Tight with fear? What's wrong?" "There's someone outside the bookstore. A man in a black car. He's been circling the block for the last hour." "Sebastian, I'm scared." His blood turned to ice. "They'd found her. Already. Lock the doors. Don't let anyone in. I'm coming to you right now." "Sebastian, what's happening? Who are these people?" "People I thought I could control." His voice was raw with fury and fear. "I'm so sorry, Celeste. I'm so goddamn sorry I brought this into your life." He was already moving, running for the private elevator. Behind him, on his desk, the manila folder sat like a ticking bomb. "Just hold on," he said into the phone, his heart hammering. "I'm coming. I promised I'd protect you, and I meant it." "Sebastian," Celeste whispered. "Hurry. The man just got out of the car. He's walking toward the door." Sebastian drove like a man possessed, the Aston Martin roaring through rain-slicked streets. Every second felt like an eternity. Every red light was torture. His phone stayed pressed to his ear, Celeste's breathing on the other end his only anchor. "He's at the door now." Her voice trembled. "Knocking. Don't answer. Stay away from the windows." "Sebastian, who is he? What does he want?" "Me. He wants to get to me through you. Sebastian's voice broke. Celeste, I swear to you I never meant for this to happen. I should have stayed away. I should have kept walking past your bookstore and never looked back. Don't say that. Her voice strengthened. Don't you dare say that. The knocking stopped. Silence stretched over the phone line. He's leaving, Celeste breathed. The car's pulling away. Sebastian didn't slow down. I'm 2 minutes out. Stay on the phone with me. When he screeched to a stop outside Harper's Haven, Celeste was already at the door, unlocking it the moment she saw him. He swept her into his arms, holding her like she might disappear. You're shaking. She pulled back to look at his face. Sebastian, you're terrified. For you. He cupped her face in his hands. Only for you. She led him to the back room, a small apartment above the bookstore. The space was modest but warm. Books everywhere, a worn sofa, a kitchen barely big enough for one, fairy lights strung across the ceiling, casting soft golden light. Tell me everything, Celeste said, guiding him to sit on the sofa. No more secrets, no more half-truths. I need to know what we're fighting. So, Sebastian told her. Everything. About his grandfather's arms deals that funded the family fortune. His father's role in the mining disaster in Colombia, the cover-up that followed. The bribes and blackmail that built the Montenegro empire on bones and blood. I was 18 when I learned the truth. His voice was hollow. I wanted nothing to do with it. I built Montenegro Dynamics with my own hands, my own code, my own innovations. Everything legal, everything clean. But the foundation, the seed money that started it all, that came from blood. And Elena knows this. She helped my father bury some of the evidence before he died. She has copies of everything, documents, recordings, photographs of deals being made. If it goes public, I'm destroyed. The company collapses. Thousands of employees lose their jobs. Every charity I fund, every scholarship program, every research grant, it all ends. Celeste was quiet for a long moment, processing. What does she want? Marriage, power, status? Sebastian laughed bitterly. She wants to be Mrs. Montenegro more than she wants the money. And if you refuse? She goes public. I lose everything. Celeste stood, pacing the small space. Sebastian watched her, memorizing the way the fairy lights caught in her auburn hair, the way she bit her lower lip when thinking hard. There's more, isn't there? She turned to face him. Another threat. Sebastian's silence was answer enough. Tell me, Marcus, my business partner, he's playing both sides. He wants 10 million to destroy the evidence before Elena can release it. Can you trust him? No, Sebastian's laugh was harsh. I can't trust anyone in my world. That's the poison of it. Every relationship is transactional. Every loyalty has a price. Celeste knelt in front of him, taking his hands in hers. Not every relationship. Not this one. You don't know what you're saying. You've known me for hours. I know enough. Her green eyes blazed with certainty. I know you're a good man trapped in a bad legacy. I know you're terrified of hurting me, but you're here anyway. I know that what we have, this connection, it's real. It's rare, and it's worth fighting for. Sebastian pulled her up onto the sofa, into his arms. You should run from me. You should throw me out and pretend we never met. Is that what you want? No, his voice broke. God help me, no. I want you more than I've wanted anything in my life. They kissed then, desperate and hungry, hands tangling in hair, bodies pressed close, the world narrowing to just them, just this moment, just the truth of their need for each other. When they finally pulled apart, both breathing hard, Celeste's eyes were bright with unshed tears. Then we fight, she said simply. Together. You don't understand what you're agreeing to. I understand that you need someone in your corner who doesn't want anything from you except you. I understand that for the first time in probably years, you have someone you can trust completely. I understand that love doesn't wait for convenient timing or perfect circumstances. Sometimes it just happens, like lightning strikes. Sebastian kissed her forehead, her cheeks, her lips. How are you real? I'm real. This is real, and we're going to figure this out. A knock at the apartment door made them both freeze. Celeste Harper? A woman's voice called out. Smooth, cultured, dangerous. I know you're in there, and I know Sebastian is with you. Elena. Sebastian moved to put himself between Celeste and the door, but Celeste grabbed his arm. "Let me talk to her." "Absolutely not. She wants you, not me." "Let me talk to her, woman to woman." Before Sebastian could stop her, Celeste opened the door. Elena stood in the hallway, immaculate in a black dress and heels, looking completely out of place in the modest bookstore apartment. Her eyes took in Celeste with cold assessment. "So you're the reason he's been ignoring my calls." Elena's smile was razor-sharp. "How quaint. The billionaire and the bookworm. What do you want?" Celeste's voice was steady despite the fear coiling in her stomach. "To give you a warning, dear. Sebastian Montenegro destroys everything he touches. His grandfather. His father. Everyone who gets close to the Montenegro family ends up buried or broken. You seem like a sweet girl. Walk away now before you become another casualty." "Or what?" Elena's smile widened. "Or I'll make sure you lose everything you love." "This bookstore? I'll buy the building and evict you. Your degree? I'll make sure you're blacklisted from every university program. Your friends, your family, anyone you care about, they become targets. I have resources you can't imagine, darling. And I always get what I want." Sebastian stepped forward, fury radiating from him. "Touch her and I'll destroy you. Files or no files. I'll burn my entire empire to the ground before I let you hurt her." "How romantic." Elena's voice dripped venom. "But empty threats don't interest me. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to announce our engagement tomorrow at the board meeting. You're going to smile for the cameras and play the devoted fiancé. And little Celeste here is going to disappear from your life like she never existed." "No," Celeste said quietly. Both Sebastian and Elena turned to stare at her. "No?" Elena's eyebrows rose. "You have no leverage here, sweetheart." "Maybe not." Celeste moved to stand beside Sebastian, taking his hand. "But I have something you'll never have. His heart, his real self, not the image or the money or the name. The actual man, and that terrifies you, doesn't it? Because you know that no matter what you do, no matter what threats you make, you can't make him love you." Elena's face twisted with rage. "You stupid girl. Love won't save you. Love won't pay your bills when you're homeless. Love won't protect you when I destroy your entire life." "Maybe not." Celeste squeezed Sebastian's hand. "But it's still worth more than anything you're offering." For a moment, something flickered in Elena's eyes. Something that might have been pain, or envy, or recognition of a truth she'd long denied. Then it was gone, replaced by cold calculation. "You have until noon tomorrow, Sebastian. Engagement announcement or everything burns, including her." Elena turned and left, her heels clicking down the stairs, the sound echoing like a countdown. Sebastian pulled Celeste into his arms, holding her so tight she could barely breathe. "I'm getting you out of here. Tonight. I have a place in Vancouver. Private. Secure. You'll be safe there while I handle this." "I'm not running." "Celeste, please." She meant every word. "She'll destroy you." "Then let her try." Celeste pulled back to look at his face. "I told you. We fight together. I'm not leaving you to face this alone." Sebastian's phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. "Elena just left Harper's Haven. She's planning something bigger than threats. Meet me at the warehouse district. Pier 42. Midnight. Come alone or Celeste Harper's background check shows up on every news site in the morning, along with her address." Sebastian's blood ran cold. "What is it?" Celeste asked, reading his expression. "Marcus wants to meet. Tonight. Then we go together. He said to come alone." "And you trust him?" Sebastian looked at this woman who'd walked into his life during a storm and refused to leave even when faced with destruction. "No," he admitted. "I don't trust anyone. Except you." "Then we go together." Celeste's voice was firm. "Whatever happens next, we face it as a team." Sebastian kissed her hard, desperately. "If anything happens to you because of me, I'll never forgive myself." "Then don't let anything happen." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "You promised to protect me, remember? I'm holding you to that." As they prepared to leave for the meeting, neither of them noticed the small recording device Elena had left under the bookstore's front counter, or the fact that every word they'd spoken had been transmitted directly to Marcus Blackwood's phone. Pier 42 sat in the abandoned warehouse district like a rotting tooth. The rain had stopped, but fog rolled in from Puget Sound, thick and suffocating. Sebastian's Aston Martin cut through the mist, headlights barely penetrating the gloom. "I don't like this." Celeste's voice was tight. "It feels wrong. Everything about my life feels wrong right now." Sebastian squeezed her hand. "Except you." They parked near the pier entrance. The warehouse loomed ahead, broken windows like hollow eyes. No other cars in sight. No signs of life. Sebastian's instincts screamed danger. "Stay in the car. Lock the doors. If anything happens, if you hear anything wrong, you drive away. You don't look back." "Sebastian, promise me." His voice was raw. "Please, Celeste. Promise me you'll save yourself if this goes bad." She wanted to argue. He could see it in her eyes. But something in his expression made her nod. "I promise. But you come back to me. That's my condition." He kissed her once, hard, then stepped out into the fog. The warehouse door hung half off its hinges. Inside, the space was cavernous and dark, lit only by pale moonlight filtering through broken skylights. Sebastian's footsteps echoed on concrete. "Marcus?" His voice bounced off metal walls. "Over here." Marcus Blackwood emerged from the shadows, impeccably dressed despite the surroundings. 40 years old, silver at his temples, smile like a corporate shark. "You brought the girl." Marcus shook his head. "I said come alone. She's in the car. Is she?" Marcus pulled out his phone, showing Sebastian a live feed. Celeste's face, illuminated by the car's interior light. "Thermal cameras. I know exactly where she is. Wave to her for me." Ice flooded Sebastian's veins. "What do you want, Marcus?" "The same thing I've always wanted. Control." Marcus pocketed his phone. "You see, Sebastian, you've been a useful partner. Your innovations made us both rich, but you've always been too soft, too moral, too concerned with doing things the right way. It's tedious. Get to the point." "The point is that Alina is a blunt instrument. Loud, messy. Public destruction isn't profitable. But private leverage? That's valuable." Marcus smiled. "So here's what's going to happen. You're going to sign over 60% of Montenegro Dynamics to me, controlling interest. You get to keep your name on the building, keep playing CEO, but I make the real decisions." "You're insane." "I'm practical. Elena wants your heart. I just want your company. Sign the papers and I make all of this disappear. Elena's files get destroyed. Her threats evaporate. You get to keep your clean reputation and your little bookworm girlfriend. And if I refuse, then I release everything. Not just to the media, to the FBI, to international authorities. Your grandfather's arms deals? Still prosecutable under current law. Your father's involvement in Colombia? That's 43 counts of negligent homicide. And you, Sebastian, you benefited from blood money. That makes you complicit." "I didn't know. I was 18. Doesn't matter. Perception is reality, and the perception will be that Montenegro Dynamics was built on corpses. Your company crashes. You go to prison. And Celeste?" Marcus's smile turned cruel. "Well, girlfriends of convicted felons don't usually fare well in the court of public opinion. Especially sweet, innocent ones. The media will eat her alive." Sebastian's hands clenched into fists. "You son of a careful." Marcus pulled out a gun, casual as drawing a business card. "I'd prefer not to get messy, but I'm prepared to if necessary. Sign the papers, Sebastian, or watch everything you love burn." The gun wasn't pointed at Sebastian. It was pointed toward the warehouse entrance, toward where Celeste sat in the car. "You wouldn't. Test me." Marcus's voice went flat. "I've killed for less." The confession hung in the air like poison gas. "What did you say?" Sebastian's voice was barely a whisper. "You heard me." Marcus's smile widened. "The Columbia mining disaster? That wasn't your father's incompetence. That was me. Cutting corners, maximizing profit. 43 people died because I decided safety equipment was too expensive. Your father found out, threatened to go public. So I made sure his car brakes failed on a mountain road." The world tilted. Sebastian's father had died in a car accident 5 years ago. Everyone said it was tragic but accidental. "You murdered him." "I eliminated a problem." Marcus shrugged. "Just like I'll eliminate any problem that threatens my interests. Including sentimental literature students if necessary." Red filled Sebastian's vision, rage like he'd never known. He launched himself at Marcus, but the older man was ready. The gun swung toward him. The shot cracked through the warehouse like thunder. Sebastian felt the impact, the burning pain in his shoulder. But adrenaline kept him moving. He crashed into Marcus, sending them both sprawling. The gun skittered across concrete. They fought like animals. Marcus had training, but Sebastian had fury. Fists connected with flesh. Blood splattered on concrete. Outside, Celeste heard the gunshot and broke her promise. She ran toward the warehouse, phone already dialing 911, heart hammering so hard she thought it might burst. Inside, Sebastian had Marcus pinned, fist drawn back for another blow. "Do it!" Blood ran from Marcus's split lip. "Kill me! Prove you're your grandfather's heir after all." Sebastian's fist trembled. Every instinct screamed to finish this, to end the threat, to protect Celeste the only way that seemed certain. "Sebastian, don't!" Celeste's voice cut through the red haze. She stood in the doorway, backlit by fog, looking like an angel sent to save his soul. "Don't become him," she pleaded. "Don't let him turn you into what he is." Sebastian's fist slowly lowered. He stood backing away from Marcus, breathing hard. Blood soaked his shoulder where the bullet had grazed him. Marcus laughed, pushing himself up. How touching. The bookworm saves the beast from himself. Police are on their way. Celeste moved to Sebastian's side, pressing her hand against his wound. "I recorded everything on my phone. Every confession, every threat." Marcus's smile vanished. "You're bluffing." Celeste held up her phone, the recording app still running. "You murdered 43 people. You killed Sebastian's father. You threatened to kill me. It's all here, every word." For the first time, fear flickered across Marcus's face. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder. Marcus grabbed the gun from the floor and bolted for a back exit. Sebastian moved to follow, but Celeste held him back. "Let him run. Let the police handle it. He'll disappear. He has resources, contacts. He also has every law enforcement agency in the country about to hunt him." Celeste's voice was firm. "And we have evidence. Real evidence, not just of what he did, but of what your grandfather and father did too." Sebastian stared at her. "You understand what that means? If that recording goes public, everything comes out. The whole ugly truth." "I know." Celeste met his eyes. "But isn't that better than living under threats forever? Better than looking over your shoulder, waiting for the next Marcus or Elena to crawl out of the woodwork? My company will survive or it won't, but you'll survive. We'll survive, and we'll do it with clear consciences." The sirens were right outside now. Red and blue lights strobed through broken windows. Sebastian pulled Celeste close despite his wounded shoulder, despite the blood and pain and chaos. "I love you. I know it's too soon and too fast and makes no sense, but I love you. I love you too." Tears streamed down Celeste's face. "Now let's go face whatever comes next, together." Police flooded the warehouse. Detective Sarah Chen took their statements while paramedics tended to Sebastian's shoulder. Celeste handed over her phone with the recording. "This is everything?" Chen asked, her expression carefully neutral as she listened. "Everything," Celeste confirmed. Chen looked at Sebastian. "You know this implicates you too. Benefiting from illegal proceeds even unknowingly has consequences." "I know." Sebastian's voice was steady. "I'm ready to face them. Whatever needs to be made right, I'll make it right." Chen nodded slowly. "We'll be in touch. Don't leave the city." As they drove away from the warehouse in the pre-dawn light, Celeste rested her hand on Sebastian's uninjured arm. "What happens now? Now?" Sebastian's laugh was hollow. "Now I hold a press conference. I tell the truth, all of it, about my family's past, about the blood money, about building Montenegro dynamics despite that legacy, not because of it. I offer restitution to every victim's family. I cooperate fully with authorities, and I watch my entire world potentially collapse. And then I figure out who I am without the company, without the money, without the Montenegro name carrying any weight except shame." Celeste was quiet for a moment. "You'll still be you, the man who kept his promise to protect me, the man who chose truth over comfort, the man I fell in love with during a storm." Sebastian pulled over, unable to drive through the tears suddenly blurring his vision. Celeste unbuckled and moved to hold him while he finally let himself break. "I don't know how to be anyone else," he whispered against her hair. "I've been Sebastian Montenegro, tech billionaire, for so long. What if there's nothing underneath? Then we'll find out together." Celeste pulled back to look at him. "Maybe you'll come work at the bookstore. You'd be terrible at customer service, but you could handle inventory. He laughed despite everything. Worst career transition ever. Or maybe you'll start a new company. Something built on truth this time. Something that helps people without any shadows attached. Maybe. Sebastian kissed her forehead. As long as you're there, I think I could survive anything. That's the plan. They sat in the car as dawn broke over Seattle, the city washing clean in pale morning light. Somewhere Marcus Blackwood was running. Somewhere, Elena Rodriguez was probably planning her next move. Somewhere, lawyers and journalists and federal agents were preparing for the storm about to break. But in that moment, Sebastian and Celeste had each other. And for now, that was enough. Sebastian's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Watching the news. Impressive show at the warehouse. But this isn't over. You took something from me and I always collect my debts. Tell Celeste I said hello. Elena. Sebastian's blood ran cold. He showed Celeste the message. Her face went pale. She's not going to stop, is she? No, Sebastian's jaw set. But neither am I. Whatever she's planning, whatever comes next, we face it together. Together, Celeste agreed. But as they drove toward the rising sun, neither of them saw the black sedan that had been following them since they left the warehouse, or the woman in the back seat, smile cold as winter, already making calls to set her final plan in motion. The press conference was scheduled for noon. Sebastian stood in his penthouse office at Montenegro Dynamics, looking out at Seattle sprawled below. In 3 hours, he would walk into a room full of reporters and destroy everything he'd built, or save it. He still wasn't sure which. Celeste sat on the leather sofa behind him, quiet and steady. She'd insisted on being here despite the danger, despite everything. You don't have to do this, she said softly. We have evidence against Marcus. That's enough. You could let the legal system handle the rest. And let my family's legacy stay buried? Let those 43 families in Colombia never know the truth? Sebastian shook his head. No, this ends today. All of it. His phone rang. Detective Chen. We found Marcus, she said without preamble. Border crossing into Canada. He's in custody. Relief flooded through Sebastian. And the evidence? Solid. Combined with Ms. Harper's recording, we have enough for multiple murder charges. This goes to trial, he's done. What about Elena Rodriguez? Chen paused. That's why I'm calling. She contacted my office an hour ago. She wants to make a deal. Sebastian's stomach dropped. What kind of deal? Testimony against Marcus in exchange for immunity. She claims she has additional evidence about the Colombia disaster. Emails, financial records. Things that could seal the case. Don't trust her. Whatever she's offering comes with strings. I'm aware. Chen's voice was dry. But legally, if her evidence is solid, we may have to consider it. I wanted to give you a heads up before the press conference. After Chen hung up, Sebastian turned to find Celeste watching him with troubled eyes. She's planning something? I know. Sebastian moved to sit beside her. Elena doesn't do anything without calculating every angle. If she's offering evidence against Marcus, it's because she's found a way to profit from his downfall. Or to hurt you worse than his threats ever could. Before Sebastian could respond, his assistant's voice crackled through the intercom. Mr. Montenegro, there's a woman here to see you. She says it's urgent. Her name is Elena Rodriguez. Celeste and Sebastian exchanged glances. Send her up, Sebastian said grimly. Elena entered like she owned the building. Black suit, red lipstick, smile sharp enough to cut. Her eyes found Celeste first, assessing and dismissing in the same glance. How domestic, Elena purred. The mogul and his muse. Should I come back when you're alone, darling? Say what you came to say. Sebastian's voice was ice. Fine. Business it is. Elena settled into a chair like a queen taking her throne. I've been thinking about our situation. Marcus is going down. That's inevitable now. Thanks to your girlfriend's little recording, he's facing life in prison. Good. Indeed. Which leaves me in an interesting position. Elena crossed her legs. I have evidence that could help convict him. Evidence the police want. But I also have evidence about you, Sebastian. About your family. About exactly how dirty the Montenegro fortune really is. We're planning to reveal that today. Are you? Elena's smile widened. How noble. How self-destructive. Tell me, have you thought about what happens to everyone else when you do? What are you talking about? Your employees, darling. 3,000 people across 12 offices. When the Montenegro name becomes synonymous with blood money and murder, what happens to them? Who's going to want tech solutions from a company built on corpses? Celeste leaned forward. You're trying to manipulate him. I'm stating facts, sweetheart. Elena's eyes never left Sebastian. Montenegro dynamics goes down, 3,000 people lose their jobs. Their health insurance, their retirement plans, their futures, all because Sebastian wants to clear his conscience. The words hit like bullets. Sebastian had been so focused on doing the right thing, on exposing the truth, he hadn't fully considered the collateral damage. That's not all, Elena continued. Your charitable foundations, the cancer research you fund, the scholarship programs, the tech education initiatives for underprivileged kids, all of it ends when your company collapses. How many lives does your honesty cost? Stop! Celeste's voice was sharp. You're twisting this, am I? Elena finally looked at her. Or am I the only one willing to speak uncomfortable truths? Sebastian can be noble. He can confess everything. He can burn it all down and walk away feeling righteous. But thousands of innocent people burn with him. Sebastian's hands clenched into fists. What do you want, Elena? A trade. Elena leaned forward. I give the police everything on Marcus. I testify. I make sure he dies in prison. In return, the evidence about your family stays buried. Forever. Montenegro dynamic survives. Your employees keep their jobs. Your charities keep saving lives. Everyone wins, except the truth. The truth is that your grandfather and father are dead. They can't be punished. They can't make amends. But the people alive right now, they can still be saved. Elena's voice softened, almost gentle. Sometimes the moral choice isn't the obvious one, Sebastian. And what do you get out of this? Celeste demanded. Satisfaction. Elena's smile returned, knowing that Sebastian Montenegro owes me everything. His reputation, his company, his ability to play hero to all those employees and charity cases. All of it exists because I chose mercy. That's not mercy. Sebastian's voice was hollow. That's a leash. Call it what you want, but you have 2 hours to decide. Press conference happens with or without my cooperation. Choose wisely. Elena left, her perfume lingering like a curse. Celeste moved to Sebastian immediately, taking his hands. She's wrong. You know she's wrong, is she? Sebastian pulled away, pacing. 3,000 employees, Celeste. Families, kids, mortgages, lives that depend on this company existing. You can't let her manipulate you like this. What if she's right? He turned to face her, agony in his eyes. What if confessing destroys more than it saves? Then you find another way. Celeste stood, moving to him. You're Sebastian Montenegro. You built a $12 billion company from a dorm room. You can figure out how to tell the truth without destroying innocent people. How? I don't know yet. But I know that letting Elena control you with guilt isn't the answer. She wants you trapped. She wants you to choose between your conscience and your compassion. Don't give her that power. Sebastian looked at this woman who'd walked into his life during a storm and refused to let him drown. What did I do to deserve you? You kept your promise. She touched his face gently. Now keep another one. Promise me you won't let fear make this decision. The intercom crackled. Mr. Montenegro, the board is assembled. Press conference starts in 90 minutes. Sebastian took a deep breath, then another. An idea was forming. Dangerous, costly, but possible. Get Detective Chen on the phone, he said to his assistant, then to Celeste, and call your grandmother's lawyer. We're going to need someone who specializes in estate law and corporate restructuring. What are you thinking? That maybe there's a third option, one where truth and responsibility both win. Sebastian's voice strengthened. But I need you to trust me, and I need Elena to think she's won. The press conference room was packed. Cameras, reporters, board members looking nervous. Elena sat in the back row, smile triumphant. Sebastian stood at the podium, Celeste beside him in a show of solidarity. Thank you for coming, he began. Today I'm here to make several announcements that will change the future of Montenegro dynamics. He told them everything about his grandfather's arms deals, his father's role in the Colombia disaster, the blood money that started his company, Marcus's murders and conspiracy. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions, but Sebastian wasn't finished. "I cannot undo my family's sins," he continued, "but I can ensure they're never repeated." Effective immediately, I'm restructuring Montenegro Dynamics as a benefit corporation with a new mission: technological solutions for social good. 60% of all profits will fund restitution to victims' families and support charitable causes focused on worker safety and corporate accountability. He paused, letting that sink in. Additionally, I'm establishing the Montenegro Truth and Reconciliation Foundation. Every document related to my family's past will be made public. Every victim's family will receive compensation. Full transparency. Full accountability. More gasps. Elena's face had gone white. Finally, I'm transferring majority ownership of Montenegro Dynamics to an employee trust. The people who built this company with their labor and talent will now control its future. I remain as CEO, but only by their consent and only as long as I serve their interests. The room erupted. Sebastian stepped back from the podium, finding Celeste's hand. She squeezed it tight. Detective Chen approached through the chaos. "That was quite a gambit. Will it work?" Sebastian asked. "The legal team thinks so. Restructuring as a benefit corporation changes the liability profile. Employee ownership shields individual workers if there's backlash, and the foundation satisfies the restitution requirements." Chen smiled slightly. "You just gave away billions of dollars to avoid criminal liability and save 3,000 jobs. Worth it? Guess we'll see." Elena materialized beside them, fury radiating from every pore. "You think you're clever. You think this changes anything. It changes everything." Sebastian's voice was calm. "You wanted leverage. You wanted control. But I don't own Montenegro Dynamics anymore. The employees do. You can't threaten me with destroying the company because it's not mine to lose. You'll regret this. Maybe." Sebastian looked at Celeste, saw the pride and love in her eyes. "But I'll regret it free. No strings, no leashes, no more weight that isn't mine to carry." Elena's last words were venomous. "You chose her over everything." "No." Sebastian's voice softened. "I chose truth over comfortable lies. I chose responsibility over reputation. I chose becoming someone worthy of her rather than remaining someone haunted by ghosts." Elena left, defeated in every way that mattered. The fallout took months to settle. Some investors fled. Others, inspired by the transformation, invested more. The company stabilized, then thrived under employee ownership. The foundation paid restitution to every family affected by Montenegro family crimes. Sebastian and Celeste bought a small house overlooking Puget Sound. He learned to cook. She finished her degree. They adopted a rescue dog who slept between them and barked at seagulls. On their first anniversary, Sebastian took Celeste back to Harper's Haven. The bookstore had survived, even flourished after local news ran a story about the owner who'd helped expose corporate corruption. "You know what I realized?" Sebastian said as they sat by the same fireplace where they'd met. "That night during the storm I thought I needed rescuing, but you were the one who needed nothing. That's not true." Celeste leaned into him. "I needed to learn that love isn't safe or comfortable, that sometimes you have to fight for what matters, that storms bring destruction, but they also bring lightning." "And lightning brings?" "Fire," she smiled. "Transformation, new beginnings." Sebastian kissed her as rain began to fall outside, the sound familiar and comforting now. Thunder rolled across Seattle's sky. "Think we'll ever have a quiet life?" he asked. "God, I hope not." Celeste laughed. "Where's the story in that?" Outside, the storm intensified. Inside, the fire crackled. And two people who'd found each other in chaos held tight to the peace they'd built together. Love that was born in a storm, tested by fire, and tempered into something unbreakable. The end.